we've taken care of the, we've taken care of the maintenance of the channel to discuss the things that we've needed to discuss. We are going to make random character number 3. And Cookie, I know you're in a bit of a time pinch, and hopefully we can get to the map. But I can quickly go to the feat section real quick to show you what that's about. Because actually, after you went to bed, our second character we made last night ended up taking a feat instead of a stat bump. I'll go to that real quick. In the player's handbook, that's here in Chapter 6, Customization Options. And instead of a stat bump at level 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19, you can, if your DM allows it, because feats are technically an option in this edition, you can take a feat. And so, Cookie, if you didn't want to take the stat bump, you could take Alert, let's say. Now, what does Alert do for you? Well, all right, so the chat's blocking a little bit. Here, let's go up to Actor. This one is nice and visible, okay? Skilled at mimicry and dramatics, you gain the following benefits. Increase your charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You have advantage, that means you roll twice and keep the highest. You have advantage on deception and performance checks when trying to pass yourself off as a different person. You can mimic the speech of another person or the sound made by other creatures. You must have heard the person speaking or heard the creature make the sound for at least 1 minute. A successful wisdom or a successful insight check contested by your deception check allows a listener to determine the effect is faked. Now, could you attempt this as a character without the feat, Cookie? Yes, you can. Though that would allow for, I don't know, maybe more room for error or failure. The feat locks in a set of parameters that's going to be more advantageous to your character to act in this way. There's these performance feats, like roleplay feats, and there are combat feats. For example, if we go to Grappler, you've developed the skills necessary to hold your own in close quarters grappling. You gain the following benefits. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature you are grappling. You can use your action to try and pin a creature grappled by you. To do so, make another grapple check. If you succeed, and the creature, you and the creature are both restrained until the grapple ends. And the final bullet point, creatures that are one size larger than you don't automatically succeed on checks to escape your grapple. So, Cookie, you may be this medium-sized human sorcerer or whatever, or a fighter, whatever. You go up and you grapple, because normally a troll or a horse, which is a large-sized creature, would just say, no, get out of here. I'm larger than you, and push you away. But because you're particularly skilled in grappling, you know where to hold on to them so that they can't just automatically get out. They still have to fight you for it. Ninbins, hello! Yeah, horse wrestling, Twy. Derek, if it's to give, let's see, plunder loot, 5 and a 15, it's exclamation point, add points, space name, space amount. Cookies asks, do DMs ever give players a feat or skill experience from the story due to repetition? Yes, I've done that before, Cookie. Picking up extra languages, maybe picking up feats or parts of feats. Something like that is completely doable. Although, look, every DM in game is different. So the disclaimer for that is talk to your local DM. All right, let's go back to Chapter 4 to prime our backgrounds. And we're going to bring the random roll guide up. Okay, you ready? Let's find out who our third character for the week is. Male, female, or multiclassed? We're going to roll a percentile die and find out. 71. We have another male character. Ninbins, hopefully I get to be a player this weekend. In a local game, I presume? Or are you doing some virtual tabletop stuff? We have a male. Now we're going to roll a d10 and find out what race what race we're dealing with. A 2. An elf, okay? Odds or evens is going to determine high elf or wood elf. It's an online game. What's the theme? Do you know? Odds. All right, so we are making a wood elf. Now we're going to roll for his alignment. We're going to roll 2 percentiles, 1 percentile for each of the axes of the alignment chart. 87 and 66. Well, that's going to put us in neutral evil, and you know what that means? Because we rolled an elf, this could turn into a drow character instead. So, if elf is rolled, you may choose for it to be a drow. On a 1 to 90, the drow must be evil. On a 90 to 97, the drow can be neutral. On a 98 to 100, the drow can be a good alignment. So what we'll do is let's roll 1 percentile. Let's make a drow, right? I don't think we've made half drows. I mean, thematically with the half elf. Let's make a drow and find out what we're looking at here. 99. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have made a good aligned drow. And so that good is going to replace the evil option here. And so we'll just go with good and whatever 66 in good is, which is neutral. So we have a neutral good male drow or dark elf. Oh, Derek's probably like, yeah, Derek's cringing over here. It's a high magic fantasy game. I'm playing a wizard who is meant to be an analog of Doctor Who. Oh. Do you have your Whovian theme down? What kind of doctor you're going to be? I think Tensor pulled a Doctor Who back in Greyhawk. Let's see. Drows are medium-sized creatures. What level is he? We're going to roll a percentile and find out. 95. We have a level 20 character. If we roll a Beastmaster Ranger, hashtag just saying. All glory to Loth Queen of the Demon Web Pits, Lord of the Drow, may her darkness shine upon all 4 corners of the multiverse. May her darkness shine. Alright, he's going to get all 5 stat bumps. Dun, 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 dun. Let's find out how many of those may end up being feats instead of ability score improvements. We rolled a 52. Okay. All gains. We got a swole drow. Maximum gains. A burly drow. Now we're going to roll a 13-sided die and figure out his background. 11. A sailor or a pirate? Which means he's going to get either ship's passage or bad reputation. And we can choose between those as we develop his character. Pi, that is a very good question. Now, sailors and pirates don't have any special origin. Like what kind of sailor, what kind of pirate. So we're going to come down here and give him the usual 2d8 for personality traits. So we're going to give him a 6 and an 8. I don't know what those are. It doesn't matter right now. We just need the placeholders. 3d6, 1 for an ideal, 1 for a bond, 1 for a flaw. 2, 5, and 5. There we go. Yeah, or a privateer. That's an option as well. A legal pirate. A white hat pirate. Maybe a white flag with a black skull and bones. All right. It is now the magic time when we are going to find out just what his class is going to be. You prefer the straw hat pirates? Ah, I see what you're doing there. Let's roll this big golden button and find out. 11. Ooh, he's going to be a warlock. Now, warlocks have one of 3 patrons, and through those patrons, they get one of 3 pacts. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to make a 3-sided die, and we're going to roll 2 of them, if you see what I did up here in our dice roller. 3 and 3. So this is a Great Old One patron Pact of the Tome. All right, so we have a warlock goo tome. Okay, moving along. You have a pseudo-dragon familiar called Companion. Do you have a very a long scarf? A bow tie? Tennis shoes? Why, Maddie, that's not tea. That is not. It is banana, kiwi, strawberry punch. It's tasty and ice cold. Kool-Aid, well, it's like a Crystal Light, so there's no sugar in it. So all flavor and none of the regret. And little, if any, caffeine, too. Okay, now let's add some physical stats to our drow. Oh, yeah. No, I have a ladybird coat. It's actually a lava coat. Ah. Made with real lava. Here's our drow line. They start at 4 feet 5 inches tall, and we're going to add 2d6 inches to his height. We're going to add 8 inches. So he's 4 foot 13. And there we go. We're going to take that same 8, and we're going to multiply it by 1d6, and add that to his base weight. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 75, and so he is weighing in at 115 pounds dry. Looks like it's made with real lava, but it keeps me safe from the weather. Interesting, Ninbins. I like that effect. Now let's figure out where in his life cycle he is. We're going to roll a percentile and find out. 10. All right, he's not a child prodigy, but he's certainly in the young adult range. So that's column 2, and if we come over here to elves, bum-ba-da-dum, so he's going to be between 100 and 200. So we're going to generate a 100-sided die. I mean, it's here. It's a percentile, right? And roll it. Okay, so he is a young adult at 145 years old. And there we go. We have all of our placeholders, and we can explore the personality and start building the character instead of just kind of staking out a vague silhouette of who he is. As always, let's start with our background. Alphabetically, they're listed in Chapter 4. This is going to flash a little bit, so hang on. Outlander, Sage, Sailor, here we go. Skill proficiencies, Athletics, and Perception. He gets some tool proficiencies with Navigator's Tools and Vehicles Water. Equipment. He gets a belaying pin from the ship he works on, or in other words, a club. "50 feet of silk rope. Ooh la la, what could you do with that?" A lucky charm, and so what we'll do is we'll go to the trinket. We'll go to the trinket page. And we'll give him some lucky charm there. A set of common clothes. A belt pouch containing 10 gold pieces. There we go. Good start so far. Now, the features you can take as a sailor or a pirate are either ship's passage, which means it's easier to book passage for cheap is free, maybe in exchange for some labor or calling in a favor, but you're really good at navigating around on a boat somewhere, some way, somehow. And now, bad reputation, instead, you have such a reputation that you could just go into a tavern and they're not going to charge you for food or drink because they don't want to get on your bad side. Maybe you've earned the bad reputation, or maybe someone's out there giving you one. Okay, his personality traits are 6 and 8. I never pass up a friendly wager. As well, oh, pardon me. I like a job well done, especially if I can convince someone else to do it. Kind of a Tom Sawyer attitude, right? His ideal is number 2. Fairness. We all do the work, so we all share in the rewards. Chaotic, but it can still work, and it can still work even though he does try and convince other people to do it. He could do it to challenge himself, or to be a bit of a trickster, or maybe he feels like, look, anyone can swab the deck. Not everyone can, I don't know, be a lookout in the crow's nest at night. Or, you know, he has talents that he has talents above what he is asked to do for a mundane task as a sailor or a pirate. And so he might try and convince other people to do that task, not to go be lazy, but he's going to go do something else to be even better and more useful. That's one way to look at it. And if you have other ideas, you're welcome to share them too. But as you can see, while we have a neutral good character, this is a chaotic ideal, and it still works smoothly. Bonds, number 5. I was cheated out of my fair share of the profits, and I want to get my due. Oh. So a former captain or crew member or bursar shorted him on a pay somewhere. And he wants that money. You know, he might not go cutting throats all across the world for it, but he's going to track it down and pursue it. And in fact, maybe if he's given a job where he's out of sight of the paymaster, or, you know, whatever, the officer's quarters, he'll trade jobs with someone else who works closer to that area, so that he can keep an eye and see who comes and goes. So if someone else tries to bilk him or someone else out of the money that he's owed, he'll know who it is. And lastly, flaws. 5. I can't help but pocket loose coins and other trinkets I come across. Alright, so he's, oh, pardon me. He's not a kleptomaniac, per se. He's not stealing to steal for the thriller challenge. But if he sees something, he says, oh, this could be useful later. Oh, you know, see, maybe he has a little hoard, a little rat's nest of things he's picked up from all the ports he's been in. Okay, well, hopefully we're starting to get a feel for this character, and maybe you're already coming to some conclusions. Should he be a sailor or a pirate? And do you think he'd be better off having ship's passage to navigate around, or has he earned a bad reputation? He could be a good sailor and have a bad reputation also by simple virtue that he's a drow. And so people don't want trouble with the drow. He goes into a tavern, and they're just going to give him food and drink because... why bring the wrath of the murderous, sacrificing drow down upon them? So I would like your all's opinions. It doesn't have to be now, but I would like your all's opinions on whether you think that this person is a sailor, a pirate, and should he have ship's passage or a bad reputation. He's like Jeremy from The Secret of Nim. Ooh, I hadn't thought of that, Deagle. It's been a while. Oh, I have that book in my library. And, of course, I've seen the cartoon a lot. That was something I watched a lot of when I grew up as a kid. Which is, I mean, it kind of has some scary style moments, but I turned out normal enough, didn't I? Ooh, pardon me. Now, with our background, we can go over to our races and investigate elves. Dexterity increases by 2, so we're going to make a note here of that. Age alignment we have, size we already have, we're medium. Our base walking speed is 30 feet. We do have dark vision. Now, drow, I'm going to jump ahead a second. Drow don't even get 60 feet of dark vision. They get 120. Which, as a DM, that's actually kind of inconvenient. I could talk about why having dark vision isn't... why characters shouldn't have dark vision. But, I don't know, maybe that's a side conversation. Keen senses. Well, alright, so here, this is another talk to your DM moment. As an elf, you have proficiency in the perception skill. So, talk to your DM and say, look, here I have a repetitive skill. What can I do? Can I take another skill that I think I would have as a sailor, right? If by our race we've learned to be perceptive. Or, pardon me, or would your DM allow you to start out with expertise in perception, because not only were you born perceptive, but you trained yourself to be perceptive by virtue of your background or class. In this case, I don't know, whatever you'd like to do. We can double up perception, or we can give him some other more appropriate skill. Maybe, I don't know, let's see. Never pass up a friendly wager, especially if I can convince someone else to do it. So maybe persuasion would be a skill that he would get instead. Fairness, we all do the work. That could also be persuasion, right? You can offer a very persuasive argument. I was cheated out of my fair share of profits, and I want to get my due. That could be investigation, to try and track down the people who bilked him out of money. I can't help but pocket loose coins and other trinkets I come across. That could be sleight of hand. because he just absent-mindedly does it. He doesn't do it to be evil. He's not trying to do it to make a ton of money. He's just doing it because, oh, wow, this is cool. Take. No one's looking after it. So we can see just by looking at our personality, we're good to go when we're making these skill choices. Did any of those sound good to you? To either double up on perception or to go for sleight of hand. Sleight of hand. Expertise and perception, sleight of hand. Oh, or persuasion. Pirates often have an eye patch, so super good perception would seem wrong. Well, we haven't necessarily decided. If you want him to be a pirate, we can make him one, Zulerpai. But we haven't really decided that. Though, if we do, I mean, heck, a sailor and a pirate, it's kind of two sides of the same coin. Paisley says, I need to talk to the D&D 5e GM generally, but he is Australia and busy while I'm in the UK busy. It's making it fairly difficult to finalize my character. Luckily, I'm fairly comfortable in improving, so if it comes to, I'll ask the mechanical questions 30 seconds before we start work on the backstory. Oh, you probably meant improvising, Paisley. Oh, big stretch. Sorry for the yawns, everyone. Hey, Orc. I like that 3-part emote. That's really good. If I look a little tired, it's because I haven't had a lot of sleep today, and I've been up and active for a while. I mean, doing fun things. I'm not going to say that. Look, Orc works in a mine. I'm not mining. But, you know, I've been up and I'm staying at it. That's true. I say improving, so out loud I typed it. Oh, gotcha. Sleight of hand seems to go better with collecting loose trinkets. Okay, sure. So here, in this case, Pi, if you're piloting this character, and you say, look, I have a double up on perception, what can I do? Yeah, let's give you sleight of hand. That makes sense. Alright, Fey Ancestry. We have advantage on saving throws versus being charmed. And we can't be magically put to sleep. Oh, White Metal Games, thank you very much for the host. Also, we can trance as an elf. Instead of sleeping for 8 hours to get a long rest, we can meditate in a semi-dreamlike state for 4 for the same benefit. And during that meditation, we can be aware of the outside world. Elves can make very good sentries because they can just rest in the top of a tree and still be observant in some ways. Languages. Common, Elven. Now, for the subrace, there's High Elf. There's Wood Elf. And here is the Dark Elf. Our Charisma score increases by 1. Our Dark Vision's 120 feet. We do have Sunlight Sensitivity. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and wisdom perception checks that rely on sight when you, the target of your attack, or whatever you're trying to perceive, is in direct sunlight. We are very photosensitive as Drow. We also are going to get some inherent Drow magic. You know the Dancing Lights cantrip. So let's go over here to, we'll put DM so we know the source. And we'll just say Dancing Lights. When you reach 3rd level, you can cast the Fairy Fire spell once per day. When you reach 5th level, you can also cast a Darkness spell once per day. Pardon me. Charisma is the spellcasting ability for these spells. Yes, Clockwork. Clockwork Angel. He is a warlock. Here, I'll scroll up a little bit. There you go. For any of you just joining, I'm sorry for my yawns. It's been a busy day, and I'm here. I'm still here with you all, but I just, you got to get those yawns out. You got to stretch. I got home not too long ago, whipped up some dinner. I haven't even eaten it yet because I'm like, oh, it's 11. I got to get going on the stream to meet you all. Let's see. Fairy Fire. I'm just going to put a note. We'll find the proper level for it. But we have Darkness. And we also have as Drow Magic. Fairy Fire. Drow Weapon Training. You have proficiency with rapiers, short swords, and hand crossbows. Weapons. Ooh, yummy cookie. Paisley says, this alt sheet reminds me I need to try again to find one more to my needs or just create one myself. I find there's too much standard information just contained in a large note field rather than a clear idea what weapons have. If you need this sheet we're using, Paisley, you can type in exclamation point like Charvar for character variant. CHARVAR. The D&D Beyond digital character sheet is incredibly tempting. If I played more 5e games, I'd probably go heavily into that. Okay. Hi, Imagination. Good to see you back. Wave, wave, wave. However, the default sheets are always going to be fave. Okay, so congratulations. We're a sailor, or a pirate, and we're a drow. Now, let's build our 20th level warlock that we randomly rolled up. From Google, lavender essential oil induces sleep. So, Maddie, your yawns are understandable. Oh, you know what? That could be. Because I set myself up for disaster. I put on some mustache wax. It's upside down. Some mustache wax before, or not before the stream, but kind of in getting things set up. And here I've been inhaling this wonderful lavender fragrance right from my mustache and my beard. All because I was giving a demonstration. No! I played myself, Pi. I played myself. Okay. Whoops. Classes. Warlock. Alright, let's get spoopy with a warlock. Huh. All of that, right? It may seem overwhelming, but just building a 20th level character isn't really that hard. Look, the most time you spend building a character is your level 1 character, because that's when you get a ton of stuff. If you level up after that in the course of a game, every level's like 5 minutes. Maybe more if you have to choose spells. But don't fret that this is going to take 3 hours to do. It's not. Paisley, this alt sheet is slightly more towards my need, immediately breaking out languages, item types, advantages, and resistances. I may try and edit this to shorten the note boxes to have some kind of ability list. Here be your thrice cursed variant character sheet, you mangy cur. Take 'em in gits, since your standard ones ain't up to your snuff. Alright, at level 20, let's look at what we get. Our proficiency bonus is a +6. We know 4 cantrips. 1. A 2. Whoops. A 3. And a 4. We're going to know 15 spells, and that'll come into play almost last. Don't worry about it. We'll come back. Spells are one of the last things that we do. We do, however, have 4 spell slots. Yay! Of 5th level. And you may look, especially if you remember the cleric from before, and you go, even at 20th level, they only get 4 5th level spells? Yes. Warlocks are weird. You'll see how their magic works in a little bit. Ah, invocations. Invocations are spell-like abilities that you get intrinsic to your character. You kind of slot a spell into you as you are an agent of this entity with whom you made a pact. And as such, you grow, you change. Because of that, you get these intrinsic qualities to you that are called invocations. Because you've given yourself to your patron. So let's see, at level 2, we get 2. I suggest doing it this way so you can keep track of at which level did you take a certain invocation, as some of them are level dependent. Level 6. Level 7. 9, 12. 15, 18. Pardon me. You know, we have some really nice calming music going on in the background, too. Maybe we can spice things up a little bit here. There we go. Alright, Warlocks are a D8 hit die. We're level 20, so we get 20 D8 hit dice. Those will help out with hit points and recovery if you were to play this character in between combats. We do get light armor proficiency as a Warlock. We also get simple weapon proficiency. No tool proficiencies. Wisdom and charisma are our proficient saving throws. So you can see here, right? Your saves for the ability are the diamonds. The skills that draw upon them normally are the circles. Now we can choose 2 skills from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Hi, Santa. Good to see you back. Let's see. Going with his personality. Maybe investigation and investigation and Maybe Arcana? I don't know. What are we feeling with this character? He is going Pact of the Tome, so he is a lot more magical. Maybe Arcana would be a good one. Yeah, Santa. It was interesting that we rolled into this randomly. Yeah, sleight of hand and perception are filled in, Pi. Pardon me. So what we went with? Ooh. Come on. Can't get sleepy. I may have goofed and put some lavender scented wax on my mustache, which is, I think, causing some, maybe some sleepiness. We'll try going to a dwarven city. Okay. Never passes up a friendly wager. Likes a job well done. A light crossbow or any simple weapon. Maybe he learned how to use a light crossbow on the seas, and he is able to shoot bolts more proficiently than use another kind of simple weapon because of that. Hey, Ivalon, you're building a Vampy for V20. Oh, what's the concept? Yeah, wouldn't that be something if he was also a charlatan, Santa? Alright. There's that. A component pouch or an arcane focus. If he's a sailor, it probably would behoove him to use an arcane focus. That way he doesn't have to, collect all the little minutia. A scholar's pack or a dungeoneer's pack? Probably a scholar, so he can keep notes, and especially accounting records, so he doesn't get money taken away from him again. Leather armor, any simple weapon, and 2 daggers. Any simple weapon, huh? Club, dagger, great club, hand axe, javelin, light hammer, mace, quarterstaff, sickle, spear, unarmed strike, light crossbow, darts, short bow, or a sling. Well, a hand axe could come in handy. Haha. Especially on a ship, if you need to help cut some replacement beams, or you need to use a hand axe kind of up here, right? You set the curve over a rail and help haul yourself up. Now, I'm leaving the pluses open because I don't know what my ability scores are going to be yet. You rolled a new barbarian today? What? Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone. Was your barbarian for practice, or was it for a game? I'm sure you could find an alphabet soup generator, Evelyn, for which department. Although it'd be fun if you did something like, I don't know, the Department of Natural Resources or something, and you're like, oh, what is an officer of this department doing here? Whoa, you gonna arrest me for, you know, for catching one too many fish from a fishing license? You know, Mr. ODNR? You're trying to... Okay, I see, Santa. I like that, Evelyn. Alright, let's go back to the Warlock. We are going to get Pact Magic. By the way, remember, Warlocks cannot cast rituals normally. We're going to get a Pact Boon. Your patron gives you a grimoire called a Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips from any class's spell list. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't count against your number of cantrips known. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to get it back. So we don't even have room on our front page here for all the cantrips we know. If we come down here, so we have DM Dancing Lights, Book of Shadows, and finally our 4 that we get by virtue of being a generic Warlock. All the cantrips. So many options. At 11th level, your patron bestows upon you a magical secret called an Arcanum. Choose one 6th level spell from the Warlock spell list. You can cast your Arcanum spell once without expending a spell slot. You must finish a long rest before you can do so again. Alright, so here is our Mystic Arcanum at level 6. Mystic Arcanum. And we're going to get 1 free spell for each of the higher levels. And Eldritch Master. At level 20, you draw on your inner reserve of mystical power while entreating your patron to regain expended spell slots. You can spend 1 minute entreating your patron for aid to regain all your expended spell slots from your Pact Magic feature. Once you regain spell slots with this feature, you must finish a long rest before you can do so again. So come up here, and that is... There we go. That is a Warlock ability. Our archetype as a Great Old One here. Now, where we got domain spells before as a cleric, the expanded spells are not automatically included on your spell list. They are options that you can take in replacement or in addition to the quote-unquote normal Warlock spells you can normally take. So you still have a limited number of spells, it's just that you have more options to choose from. They can be pinched for spells. So, do we really need to write this down? Not necessarily, because all of these are going to be options for us. We are going to get an Awakened Mind, an Entropic Ward, a Thought Shield, Thought Shield, and Create Thrall. You always wanted a buddy you could make on the fly? In fact, because we can't fit all our cantrips. How do we even hold all these cantrips? We'll just leave that blank for now. Alright, now we can go through and choose which invocations we would take for this character. These are kind of like Warlock feats, like specific. They do different things. And remember, it's like instilling a spell inside you that you can call on at any point in time. Oh, Thought Shield in that way, Santa. How serious is sunlight sensitivity? Less than for a vampire? Yeah, I guess it would be less than for a vampire. Gives you disadvantage on attacks and skill checks. If you, the object you're looking at, or if there's something of bright sunlight in the way or around you that can't be escaped. If he was a sailor, never pass up a friendly wager. Yeah, detect magic would be very interesting. Being able to detect magic at will. Book of Ancient Secrets could be good. You can now inscribe magical rituals in your Book of Shadows. Choose 2 first-level spells that have the ritual tag from any spells list. The spells appear in the book and don't count towards your number of spells you know. With your Book of Shadows in hand, you can cast the chosen spells as rituals. On your adventures, you can add other ritual spells to your Book of Shadows, and when you find such a spell, you can add it to the book. That's like a free feat right there. Yeah, he could be in the crow's nest at night. And a supercharged Eldritch Blast. Yeah, that's oh, yeah, that's true, Santa. Off my boat. Play Kenku and you can crow the man's nest. I like it. Why did that make you hesitant, Derek? I think the repelling blast could come in handy, especially on a ship. And I do kind of like having giving him that Eldritch Sight as well. Now, what else would he take over the course of... Yeah, I think there's 3 separate ones, Ivalon. Distant Realms could be a good one if he's a lookout as well, because he can cast Arcane Eye and just send it out and look through it. Visions of Distant Realms. He likes other people to do his work. Fairness. He wants to track down someone who you know, kind of got him out of some profits that he was owed. Can't help but pickpockets. I almost want to say that something like Mask of Many Faces would work as well. Cast Alter Self on you at will. Ooh. Beast Speech to befriend water animals for directions and tides. Oh, yeah, that could be a good one, too. Good, good, good. We could even slot in Beguiling Influence to make him proficient in Deception and Performance. I think that could be good as well. Actually, he might even pick that up before Beast Speech. I guess it doesn't matter. It's a 6 and 7. Now let's add to Deception and Performance. You want to add Devil's Sight and Eldritch Sight as well. Well, we gave him Eldritch Sight. Oh, Witch Sight. You normally see in darkness with magical and non-magical. So, I mean, that would grant him, I guess, a look through of magical darkness, but he already has 120 of normal Although Witch Sight, you can see the true form. Yeah, but we're filled up. Misty Visions could be cool. You cast Silent Image at will without expending a spell slot or material components. Oh, no. Here's this. Otherworldly Leap. You cast Jump on yourself at will without expending spell slots. That would give you the high seas acrobatics and jumping around from mast to mast, crow's nest to crow's nest, or one side of the ship to the other. That could be a really good one. Hey, Alexander, good to see you. Our random character number 3 is a Drow, a good Drow of all things, even. A good Drow Warlock, level 20. And lastly, oh, one with shadows. He's gonna be on Night Watch. He's a person of the night anyway. That would make a lot of sense. One with shadows. There we go. Bada boom! We have some invocations. Yeah, if you guys want to look ahead and determine his cantrips and maybe some other spells too, then you're certainly welcome to do so. All right. Now we need to give him some ability scores so that we can fill in the rest of the sheet, including his magic. Yeah, bada bang, bada boom. Forget about it. Let's see. How should we build him? Charisma. Look, Charisma is a Warlock's best friend. We can always drop the 15 in here, and he'll get a starting 16. From there, I don't know. If he spent a lot of time out on the sea, would he have a high constitution? Or maybe a high or a high dexterity? Maybe put the 12 in con. $13, 10 wisdom. Probably the 10 intelligence and a 13 wisdom. And an 8 in strength. Now, his strength may be low, but he'll still be decent at athletics. You know, climbing and whatnot. And that makes sense as a sailor. Scurvy makes for strong con. Santa, 14... So Santa, instead of using point buy, we're using the standard array. So if you look up here, these are the scores that we're going to be working with. No problem, Santa. Don't worry about it. If we went with this, then he's gonna be very lithe, right? Very dexterous, Lithe also. And from here, we can then put our 5 ability score improvements into him. Because we didn't roll that he's taking any feats. This is pure skill. If we did that, 2 of them, we could raise his charisma to 20. Woo! He's a pretty looking sailor. We can maybe raise his wisdom up a little bit. I guess we'll get to that. Hang on. We get 5. We've used 2 so far. Maybe raise his constitution a little bit. Maybe raise his dexterity a little bit. Now, if we do this, we could raise his wisdom and put it to a 14. We could put it to a 15, but that 15 in wisdom, I mean, look, we want the 14. What do you do? What do you do with that spare 1? So if we increase wisdom by 1, we have a floater. We're floating 1 point, and I would put it into constitution or strength. The reason being, and we covered this last night, constitution scores and strength scores, not the abilities, or not the modifiers, but the scores themselves have mechanical benefits. For a sailor, holding one's breath would possibly come in handy. However, he might put that spare 1 into strength, so at least he can haul a little bit more around physically. But in this case, as we have this extra 1, that 15 in wisdom is a 14 in wisdom, and we really don't have a need to put our wisdom to anything higher than 14 right now. So we could make a determination, say, all right, which physical stat would we want to draw more benefits from? And if you want to say, yeah, bring up his strength a little bit, then there you go. He can now carry more equipment, gear, etc. on him. Or if we wanted him to hold his breath longer, we could put it in con and give him a 15. Now with these scores, he still has a -1 modifier, but he can carry more at a 9 than he could at an 8. 42025. It can be, but look, in random character creation, we can just roll with it or go with your first gut instinct, Santa's Blah. His saving throw is going to be -1 in strength. So you know what? A hard, like a stiff wind will blow him over. His athletics, however, is a +5. Yes, he has -1 from the ability, but he's proficient. He's had practice climbing. Go figure. Dexterity here, 4, 4, 4, and sleight of hand is going to be 10. Constitution's 2. Intelligence is going to be 0 almost down the line, with the exception of Arcana, which is 6, and Investigation, which is 6. Santa will remember this. His Wisdom saving throw is 8, as is his Perception, and the other Wisdom skills are going to be 2s. And finally, Charisma. 11 on the saving throw, 11 Deception, 11 Performance, 5 Intimidation, 5 Persuasion. That's pretty good. We come up to Passive Perception, which is 10 plus your Perception modifier. So he has a passive perception of 18, unless he's in the... Well, he still has a passive perception of 18 in the sun, but it could possibly be less because of the sunlight sensitivity. You and your DM would work that out on your own. We come over here. Your initiative is a dexterity check, so we're at a +4. By the way, our climb speed is 15 and our swim is 15 because it's half your movement. Armor class. We wear leather, which begins at 11. Then we get to add our full dexterity modifier to it. So our armor class is 15 while we're wearing leather armor. Hit points. At level 1, you get your full hit die of hit points. For every other level beyond it, so 19 extra levels to give us a level 20 character, we go half plus 1. Your DM might decide to allow you to roll or to force you to roll randomly. I prefer the half plus 1 method personally. Lastly, for all of our levels, so all 20 of them, as you can see here, you get bonus hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. Look at that. An extra 40 hit points at level 20 because of that. So we have 135 plus 8 is 143 hit points. You want to talk about a not too squishy caster? There it is. It is some very... You cannot ignore this character's girth, Alzy. Also, now that we have our scores up here, we can go over and let's see. All right. So to hit with a strength-based weapon, we're not going to be too good wielding this club. As we are proficient in it, we do get our 6. However, we're going to have to subtract our 1. So if we want to bonk someone with a club, even at level 20, we're rolling at a +5. And it's going to deal 1d4 minus 1 bonking damage. If we do hit. Glamored studded leather, you think? And a beefy boy? Light crossbow is dexterity based, and so this is a +10. Right? 4 plus 6. And we're adding an extra 4 damage with the light crossbow. Daggers are finesse, and so we would probably choose to use our dexterity in this case. So that's going to be a +10, and a +10, and that's going to be an extra 4 points of damage on top of the dagger. Hand axes are traditionally strength-based. So it'll be much like the club. It'll be a +5 to hit, and 1d6 minus 1 damage. Yeah, Tinybonks. Tinybonks, Santa. Question on the hit points. You said half plus 1. Where's the half? Alright, so, Pi. We are a D8 hit die class as a Warlock. So at first level, you get all 8 hit points. At levels 2 and beyond, you would get half plus 1 of your hit die. In this case, that would be 5, right? Half of 8 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So for the other 19 levels, we got 5 hit points from our class, and then another 40 hit points from, 20 times 2. All 20 levels at a 2 Constitution. And by the way, if you go on to raise your Constitution later, you get retroactive hit points based on your current level. So if you just hit level 10 and you for some reason get to increase your Constitution from a 1 to a 2, instead of having an extra 10 hit points, you'd have an extra 20 hit points. I hope that makes sense. Even though you just dinged at level 10. By the way, our character can have a name now. He's no longer a pile of stats. To attack with our spells is similar to attack with a weapon, although in this case we're using a mental stat, charisma. Therefore, our attack is going to be +11, right? 5 plus 6. To determine how difficult it is to resist our spell's effects, you simply add 8 to your attack. So it's a DC 19 to try and dodge out of our fireballs or to resist our mind influencing effects, etc. and so forth. Spellcasting ability, Charisma. We are a Warlock all the way. This was a 19 and a plus 11. 0, 0, 0, 0, and 4. Could a Chain Warlock use a Sprite Familiar to, say, pick locks or grab something off a desk? Unless the Warlock's pet here forbids that specifically. You learn the Find Familiar spell and can cast it as a ritual. The spell doesn't count against your number of spells known. When you cast a spell, you can choose one of the following normal forms for your familiar. An imp, pseudo-dragon, quasit, or sprite. Additionally, when you take the attack action, you can forego one of your own attacks to allow your familiar to make one attack of its own. So yeah, in this case, you could command it to go and manipulate objects, grab things, as long as it could grab it. And unless your DM would rule otherwise, Steel Dust, yeah, you've summoned something into existence. It's bound to you as a familiar, but you could command it to go grab, I don't know, a jar of ink or something. Okay. Let's zoom in a bit, and I'm going to show you. If you remember from last night, clerics know all cleric spells at all times, and when they wake up in the morning, there you go. You choose which ones you want, you pray for the miracles, and you get them. Warlocks don't work like that. In fact, you'll see, we only have 4 actual spell slots of level 5 at that. Meaning our level 1 spells would have to get cast as level 5 spells, and we only get 4 spells from all the spells that we know until we can refresh our spell slots. If you look here, spells known, we know 2 spells at level 1. What I would suggest you do in this case is come over here and type in level 1. And this way you know at which level you attain these spells. And look, at level 2, we suddenly go to 3 spells known. However, we only can still cast first level spells, right? Because that's the highest slot level that we have. So we come down here, and there you go. And then at level 3, wouldn't you know, we know an additional spell. We go from 3 to 4, and we can learn second level spells. And so we can go 3, 4. 5, 6. 7, 8. Now, 9, at 9 we get a new one. At 10 we do not. Look at the highlighted box. Spells known, 10. Then the next spells known is also at 10. So we come down here and we get our level 9 spell here at 5th level. And you see all of the other spells cap out at 5th level. Now, bear with me. For any of you, you're like, but you can do... I got you. Hang on. Let's just do this first. So look. It's at 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. 11, 13, 15, 17, and 19. And you may be saying, okay, whoa. Why are we loading up on high-level spells? You can go back and take spells for... if your class opens up you learning a new spell, you can go back and learn a spell of a lower level if you so choose. So instead of just getting all blocked up and constipated at level 5 spells, instead, you could do this. If you're content with having, I don't know, let's say you're content with 3 spells here at level 4. In this case, whoops, this should have been 15, 17, 19. You come over here, and there you go. And there you go. And you go back and you're like, oh, I'm almost at the end. I kind of regret not taking that one spell at level 2. Boom. Yeah, they do get rejuiced on a short rest. Well, I think I described that because of you have 0 spell slots except for the highest one you can cast through. So yes, your level 1 spell, the spell you get at character level 1, which is also a spell level 1. Well, at the time you'd cast it as a first level. But here at level 20, I don't know, let's say you had I don't know, what's a level? Tasha's Hideous Laughter. So let's say you had that as a level 1 spell. You would cast it through one of your 4 spell slots you have, and it would be cast as a 5th level spell. Ivalon, you did a good job of describing that. Santa, you want to call him Tebryn Farsight Daevein? I kind of like this. Yeah, if you come down here, the Warlock table shows how many spell slots you have. The table also shows what level of those slots, or what the level of slots is. All of your spell slots are the same level. To cast one of your Warlock spells of first level or higher, you must expend a spell slot. You regain all the expended spell slots when you finish a short or long rest. For example, when you're 5th level, you have 2 3rd level spell slots. To cast the 1st level spell Thunder Wave, you must spend one of those slots, and you cast it as a 3rd level spell. You like Tinybonks? I'm glad. Tebryn Tinybonks Daevein. Yep, it's that unlimited power. You just can't help but the magic just comes gushing out of you. Yes, Dread Pirate Tinybonks. Terror of the high seas. Now from here, if we wanted to fill out his spell list, we could do that. If you have ideas, you're welcome to throw them out there. In what you would like to do. Although I gotta check real quick here. Go to spells, and then Darkness, I'm fairly certain, is a 2nd level spell. Yeah, Darkness and Dark Vision, and Fairy Fire, I think that's a 1st level spell. Just to double check. Yeah, Fairy Fire's first level. So that's our freebie from being a drow. Catapult and Enlarge Reduce. Catapult is very good. That turns everything into a projectile. And remember our Mystic Arcanum here. These are a freebie. Once a day we can cast a spell here. So we can take level 9 spells. Give me invisibility and suggestion anytime. Gushing, I think Derek linked me an anime video about that. Oh my. So yep, what I'll do, if you all want to take a look here, well, it's still gonna have to be a big bottle, because it just reduces it would turn an adult into a child size, so you would still need a really big bottle. Like if you want to go over spells and such, we can do that. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna stretch. I think I might wash my face to get the lavender scent out of my mustache. So I'm not, I think I caught a second wind already, but I'm just going to go wash my face, get the lavender out just so I can be a little bit more active here. And then what we'll do is when I come back, we'll look at the 3 characters that we have generated already. And we'll say, okay, what kind of a map can we generate off of them? What would be a compelling... or even we could do a random one. Not all sailors, have to be on the sea or even sail on the sea. You know, riverboats, lakes, things like that. I don't know. We'll see what we generate. We'll look at our characters, get a good direction of some kind if we can determine it. And I'll show you how using the DMG, we can take elements from it in order to make a map of a region and just kind of come up with something on the fly. And we'll touch on culture, geography, geology, that kind of a thing. Well, no, flavor's good, Derek, because when you have classes like this that just give you a spell as you level up, that spell that you're given is something that's useful to the character and something in which they find tremendous value, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't just take it, right? Clerics, druids, paladins, and even wizards. Wizards are kind of the in-between. They can take everything, ultimately. But here, with bards and warlocks and sorcerers, you are mostly-ish committed to the spells that you take. And so they have to be meaningful and important to you on your life's journey. Insert Deku Princess in a bottle for Majora's Mask. I haven't played Majora's Mask. Like, I tried it, and I'm like, nope. This is time travel. I'm not getting involved. Rescue mission in the Plane of Water. The Bronze Thief got caught in planar shenanigans, and the hero friends have to come assist her, getting stuck in their turn in this unwelcoming place. I think I get what you're going for, Santa. Alright, everyone, hang on. I will be back in about 10 minutes or so. I'm going to get a snack. I'm going to walk around, wash my face to get pumped and ready. I already have the things open that we need in order to make this map. And you're fine, Santa. And we'll go from there, okay? I'll see you in a little bit. Hang tight.